Yep. All right. Orry is going first against Saint. That game is underway. Orry versus Saint in round 9. Oh, Josh coming through. Josh, thank you so much. I couldn't even get there first. Look, that's funny.
Now you're
Josh
sub,
beating me
Allison.
to give my own wife a gift sub. I would feel threatened, except Josh is truly a swell guy. I have no concerns.
Oh
Yes.
man,
All
I'm
right. So
still feeling that. I
Orry,
need another beer.
Orry going first, plays Ladies. He drew a bingo and he slaps it down within 30 seconds. Nicely done. Don't want to spend too long on that. If you see a bingo on this rack, I guess the only thing we're thinking about for laities going down, you want to make sure that you minimize the vowels next to those bonus squares. Laities doesn't have a way to avoid putting a vowel next to a double letter score.
Oh, Rifampin?
Yeah, rifampin would be available through the I. There probably is other stuff.
Amplify doesn't fit.
Yeah, there's gonna be bingos here for Orry, and I think he's gonna find one. I'm pretty sure he's gonna throw something really impressive down here. Orry
Oh,
definitely
Fire Damp
knows. Ooh, fire damp. Where is that going?
doesn't fit anywhere, but
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a good find for sure. Um, so yeah, what is the best play here? Is it just Rifampin here? Oh, well, actually, pacifism. Okay, so Rifampin is played, but I just want to point out that according to the evaluator on Woogles, potentially an idea there would have been to burn a blank and play foam alongside bullpen. So with 2 blanks in hand, it might actually be a good idea to play foam, score 44 or something like that points alongside bullpen, and keep your other blank for next turn where you're a very strong favorite to bingo again. What do you think about that, Josh?
I think if the scores were reversed, that would be the right decision. But I believe that the fact that Ori is going to bingo twice in a row totally outweighs putting, even if it's just an F, putting an F out there. He's already in a really commanding position. So just playing that word Rifampin, look what it does to the board. I'm
Yeah,
really
I'm
liking
seeing that now. Yep.
I'm really liking the bingo here, although it is extremely strong to keep the second blank and probably bingo next turn. I like the human move here of Rifampin. Pacifism was a couple more points. However, Rifampin's better positionally. I'm gonna
Yeah,
go be
just
right back.
sure, sure. And I'll talk about why that is. So just imagine for a minute that you draw a 7-letter bingo ending in S, which is one of the most common. We already saw one in this game, laities, right? So imagine, let's say Ori drew laities again, right? After foam, or rather, let's don't even worry about which player it is. Just imagine that you have the rack of laities again. If you play Rifampin, you block bingos like that, ending in S. Whereas if you play foam to the upper part of the word bullpen, you leave that bullpen's hook completely unobstructed. So Rifampin does have, not only does it prevent the bullpen's hook from being quite as lucrative, so any word ending in S is going to have a much harder time hitting the board, and it also blocks all of the through tiles of the word bullpen. Bull, all of those. Okay, a lot of moves just came in there.
Yeah, that was a great scenario for Saint after his play of below. Kid came down really fast, by far I think the highest scoring play in the position for Ori, and Outliner still fit, hooking the O onto Oda. So that was the lifeline that Saint needed to get back into this game. It's still going to
Absolutely.
be really, really quite the uphill battle here, I would say.
Yeah, that bingo, 70-point bingo for Saint, puts him down 60. So he was really in trouble. Um, G.I. Joel in the chat, nice to see you, Joel, points out an incredible variation of rifampin, of rifampicin. Raise your hand if you knew that word. And if you aren't Joel Sherman or Physics is Fun, I'm not sure I believe you. Um,
Yeah,
but
that's crazy.
yeah, beautiful word there. Very similar to rifampin on the board. So yeah, hybrid being pointed out. I think also hired is, I think literally in Collins, Higher is a verb, but that not only doesn't play, but it's not the right lexicon. So
Lowered is a word, so hired.
there you go. It's perfect logic. So yeah, but ultimately, Orry still has a nice big lead. The question is, where is he going to play? And he decides on hider the second time. Oh wow, that's hilarious!
He's learned.
Amazing. He's learning. We see
Was-
Orry is learning.
No, he probably knew Hyder was valid. He probably knew Hyder. It was probably Renan's. I mean, if you guys remember the game where Hyder and Renan's with 3 ends was played, if you were here, Cesar got a challenge off of that play, and we still don't know which word or if both words were being challenged by Orry. But now he's 100% sure Hyder is a word after that.
Yeah, really funny. I really hope that it was Hyder that he was challenging before and that he has learned that it is a word and played it. So yeah, oh, it has inbox. Yeah, I think inbox has
Inbox was played with
appeared
it was
in.
Saint.
Yep,
Saint played it against Ed Liebfried.
that's right. Yeah. So option
Man,
of
really
playing
weird.
inbox, but yeah, that's so strange. These words appearing, and also, well, inbox I don't think played anywhere on that turn. He just happened to have it on his rack.
Yeah.
But we have also seen persona be bingoed with twice. So a number of words appearing multiple times
What
here.
if we see Rifampin again? I mean, that would just be
Should I
ridiculous.
do a prediction?
Yeah, what word? Yeah, what word? Or just in chat, what word do you think will be played again? I don't know. You'd probably have to choose some. By the way, for your beer lovers out there, I'm about to take this beer down, Louis. I don't know if it's any good, but it's a fruit face IPA. So to all of you people that are not teetotalers like Will and are trying to get into the spirit of Nola by drinking, cheers to you. And let's get back to the game.
Yeah, this is definitely not a channel for beer nerds out there. I am very unlikely to show up with a can check or anything like that people would find interesting.
Not bad.
Good suggestion, Joel, of potentially AZO being an absolutely monster play here alongside Hyder. The Zin play in that spot could be really huge with the Z at some point. So we'll see if that ends up mattering. But of course, from Ori's perspective, I wonder if he definitely is going to want to play his J here. But from his perspective, he may want to keep the J and try and hit Raj or something in that spot himself. Or Joe going down if he draws an O. So there's a number of things. If Orry keeps the J here, that's going to be why. He's going to try to draw a vowel that lets him play his J for a huge score. And I guess hope. Wow.
Wow, that's very weird.
Very surprising play there. So he plays his J off. That is not what I expected. Of course, the play of Jin, if you play Scrabble for long enough, you're going to see the D hook on this word be played constantly. And we see that Saint has this D here. He'll be able to play a nice high scoring play with Jin, DJIN.
Yeah, Ori definitely should have thought about this
Wow, but
because
also he can just play BY underneath OXO and save an amazing bingo leave.
whoa. Wait, actually, even BYE, no, just BY. Yeah, for sure.
There's a
No, that's the
lot.
play.
Wow, Jin, that's so interesting. So Ori is up by a lot, but really he's just given Saint a number of ways to battle his way back in this game with that play. I think I really would have wanted to see any kind of play that goes for the J bomb in that spot
Yeah,
rather than just this.
We'll probably
Surprising.
look at the position after, but I was
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
maybe playing Erg, Dee and ERR, because I think one of the reasons he played Jin is he is worried about that Z possibility coming down with Azo or something along those lines. But if you play Erg making DEE, the Azo play no longer fits. And as well as that, you're fishing for one of the 7 remaining A's. The bag is more than half empty, and there's still 7 A's unseen, 7 out of 9 A's. So the chances of drawing an A for Raj, which would fit in the same spot for 32 more points than Jin scored, is humongous.
Yeah, a nearly 60-point bomb of a spot there. So wow, a lot of action now on this board, which really does run counter to what I feel I experience in my games with Orry. I don't have Orry play Jin against me very much. I don't feel like he ever has made moves like that. Certainly not with a lead. But we'll see how it plays out. This is going to be really interesting. So I guarantee from Saint's perspective, he's wondering, should I cash my D now? And the beautiful thing about this from Ori's perspective that makes it so hard for Saint is Saint has to be saying to himself, will
Yeah,
Ori ever play this without the last
yeah,
D? Don't I have to play there?
yeah, exactly. But if anybody is going to disregard that, I mean, it's something you should be thinking of. It's Saint, and here he does
There
it.
it is. He just says, all
Wow.
right, I'm going to play bye for 37, leaving a great leave of DEINT. That leave would not be nearly as good without the huge lane on column A to hook with Jin, right? Like that leave is a good leave, but this board is not good for it with that huge exception.
And now Ori must be like, why did he take so long to make that play?
Yeah.
What else was he thinking
This is
about?
a very fun game so far. I'm really interested to see how this one ends up. And now Ori, so to his leave, he drew a U. I guess it's nice for Ori with the leave that he had of EGHRRS. He's definitely happy to see a vowel, but the U never a great sign. Rarely a great sign. And he plays shrug, and we're
It's
gonna see
like
tainted. We're gonna see tainted and Jin.
amazing. I mean, that was really likely. And here we go. Saint is ahead after the opening.
That's just totally
The
backfired.
one-two punch. The
Jin
one-two punch
Jin
of Laties and Rifampin, totally marred by the play of Jin in the most incredible way. And yeah, Ori just he had to shrug it off. If I have to make that pun, like, he doesn't know what to do there. That's
that's just a surprise. That is a surprising one for sure. And you could see Ori with extra insult to injury, um,
he
overaged.
drew the D.
He did. Oh my God, he drew the other D to potentially play and hook Jin as well. So anyway, Ori has to put that out of his mind and realize that he's still going to be okay. He's still
I think he's still in a better position, I
yeah,
would
he's
say. It's
still
close.
okay, but he's gonna have to buckle down clearly. And I wonder what he'll end up playing here. He has a good spot for his V alongside DE, an outliner. I'm not sure if there's anything really great in that spot though. He could play Oriad alongside Tainted. That scores pretty well. It keeps the V left over, which you don't love, but it's great to cover that spot with a big scoring play. I don't know. What am I missing here?
Yeah, something like that looks pretty good. But anyways, if anybody can clutch this game back, it's Oreo. Vera comes down. That doesn't take anything, does
Oh,
it?
yeah, no hooks on that. So that's a nice way to spend that
And
V
look at
and
this
score well.
draw.
Oh man, this game
Wow.
going from crazy to crazier here as we see an absolutely wild draw. And I honestly do not even,
Where do you start?
there's
What did
really
we
no, I don't even know what to do with this. Okay,
what?
so a very interesting choice. Instead of exchanging, um, Saint is going to take the tack of outscoring here. He's
He's
going
trying to get one
to
of the
try to
2 eyes, I guess, for quiz for 44?
that
That
could be.
looks totally unsound. Maybe he thinks Vera has a hook.
Oh, that's maybe he is blocking the hook on Vera, which doesn't actually exist. Um,
God, Benji
oh, you
redeems
could
him way.
knock that one out pretty quick if you want, Josh.
No.
There you go. There it is.
That's not that doesn't look right at all to play a VOD. I think that's giving Orry a bit too much.
Yeah,
Um,
it's gonna take so long.
Weeto.
That's a good job. To big fan of Will coming through with a good Timism.
Ooh,
Thanks,
tainted.
thanks, honey.
That was notable.
That's a
I
yep,
don't know.
that's
That's
the
I
that's
mean,
the
that's
holy
yeah.
trinity of Timisms is no, Wito, and that's notable. Or I guess when you. Um, sorry for anybody coming over that's not fully immersed in Scrabble culture. You're probably
Yeah,
very confused right now,
very
and that's
confused.
totally fine. We're a little bit, a little too inside jokey. We can get back to the game, I guess. After that, that is funny though. Um,
Um, and if I know what you're thinking, is gout liner a word? No, it's not.
surprising, but not. Yeah.
Wow, Cog. I
Okay.
mean, both of these players are just like they don't care. They're
Yeah.
just they're
Um,
just making plays.
So I guess here you kind of have to play Squeg. I
Yeah.
can't imagine not playing Squeg. You don't like to use your S, but you really need to. If you are Saint, you got to get this Q off now and hope for better things for your Z in the future. That's how I would see this.
Cock champ. That was a good one, Benji.
Nice.
Oh, he misses
Oh,
swag. He misses
West.
swag. That's an easy word to miss. It's a very odd looking word, swag. But that was a
Yeah.
lot better than Quest.
Yep, just to use that G and even
Hmm.
score a bunch more points. So, yeah, looks like a slight inaccuracy. But again, I have to say, Saint is up by 8. Orry is going to have a tricky decision here, and Saint has the Z,
He's
right?
probably
So
just gonna play mad.
there's definitely, yeah, that's true. He can just play mad and be done.
Next to Cog, making MOR and AG.
Yep, that scores quite well. It leaves very well, although on this board, very, very hard to see how you're going to bingo that easily here. I guess maybe through the S&T of Quest, or if you get lucky enough to draw just the right 7-letter word, potentially down on the bottom row.
Oh, I was looking for
Oh,
plays there.
tread. Okay.
That's definitely much better than mad.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
scores
Scores
well.
31, yeah.
Yep, and knocks and gets you a little closer, excuse me, to the end of the game. But Saint can play ooze.
Yeah, there's no room for Ectos though. Sorry, Benji. Ooze. Yeah, Ooze is by far the best play there, I think. And
44. So
oh,
now after this draw, Ori is in trouble, actually.
will we see an exchange 7? Probably not. The unseen pools. But I want to
Equals
I want to
to
talk about the
that, yeah.
concept of exchanging 7. You can only exchange tiles when there are 7 or more tiles in the bag. Um, and the idea behind exchanging all of your tiles when there's 7 in the bag is that you get perfect knowledge of the unseen tiles. It's a very rarely used concept in Scrabble, but if there is a situation, we see fan come down, which seems totally fine, pretty much automatic, I would say. But if there is ever a situation where there are some nice unseen tiles and your tiles are not so good, and there's exactly 7, the strategic value of putting all of those 7 back into the bag is immense. You get absolutely perfect knowledge because you draw the only 7 tiles that were in the bag, which means you just take the tiles that were not in the bag and you know exactly what your opponent has on their rack. So unfortunately in this position it doesn't make pretty much any sense because the unseen letters were so poor. There was like too many vowels, a C, a U, a G, a Y. But it is a very interesting concept if people are looking for some fun extra uh, strategic value in the game of Scrabble, even if there already is too much of it, I would say. Too much strategy. Actually, there's never too much strategy.
Well, yeah, it's I feel like in Scrabble, that's a great example of in Scrabble, I would say a lot of positions can be analyzed relatively simplistically just by again, the very simple concepts of I want to make a high scoring play that leaves good letters for me next turn. A lot of plays that you can just figure out based on that alone. And then there are some plays that can be incredibly complicated with layers and layers and layers of strategy and thinking behind it. So basically, when you're playing a game of Scrabble, you have to be on guard. Any given turn can be one of those ultra complex situations that involve concepts like inference or what Josh is talking about, where potentially with 7 tiles in the bag, you can exchange them all to gain perfect knowledge of what your opponent has on that turn. Those are really complicated situations. They don't come up that often, but you got to be ready for them when they do. Um, but ultimately, as we did see, Orry played fan, leaving 4 consonants. So it's the reason he did that is if you actually look at the pool from Saint's perspective, you can see Orry was looking at a pool that had an enormous amount of vowels in it. So he knew his odds of drawing a bunch of vowels to pair with his consonants were very high. So rather than exchanging, I think he was absolutely correct to take 27 points, have a really good chance of drawing at least 2, maybe 3 vowels to fill that rack out and become balanced again. And just keep that scoring pressure on. If you exchange, you really run the risk. I mean, he would have exchanged down 21 points already, which would have given Saint a golden opportunity just to run away from him in this game. Um, so we're going to see what Saint comes up with here. It's
Hmm.
not going to be easy for him.
The more I look at this position, the less I like any of the options that don't empty the bag. Now, it's very important when you're starting to play competitive Scrabble to learn about the concept of emptying versus not emptying the bag, the concept of tempo. Um, as we can see, there are 4 tiles left in the bag. You can see that on the right side. So immediately, if you've learned any rules of thumb in Scrabble, you're thinking, okay, I shouldn't play 4 tiles or more here. I should play 3 tiles, maybe 2 tiles, leave 1 in the bag, leave 2 in the bag. But those options are really running into many, many risks in this position, I think. If Ori has the S, he basically has free reign over this board. He can hook it with quests, he can hook it with shrugs, and he can hook oozes. Those are so many spots that he can use if he has the S. And I really think that more importantly in this position than not emptying the bag and taking a small lead is drawing the S. So
Yeah,
that's why I'm leaning more and more
totally agree.
towards playing Coty or Goatee through the T in quest. But that might just lose immediately. And the value in not emptying the bag is it makes it more complicated for your opponent. But I don't really know. Do we Oh, a quest. A quest is a great idea by Benji, though. If you're not That might be the best play to not empty the bag. Just putting the A and the C on top of quest. What a nice find.
Very clever. Yeah. That
Ecotage. I don't know about that one though.
I mean, Ecotage is if ever that play is going to be good, it might be here because you basically, if you make a play like Ecotage through the T of Quest, what you're hoping is that you draw SY out of the bag and that Ori doesn't really have a way to punish that open E of Ecotage in the triple lane. Again, you can envision it on the board through the T of Quest there would be an E wide open in the triple lane, but most of the letters unseen are low point tiles, with the exception again of the M and Y. So maybe that's worth doing, but I do think I favor a play like Coty or Goatee for the simple reason that it continues to add value to your S if you draw it, if you make a play like that. And I do think this game, from Saints' perspective, I think he's basically down to isolating those occasions when he draws the S, and there
Wow.
it is. He plays Ecotage. Of course, he's just drawn a terrible rack.
There's no way to win the
So
position.
Orry is for sure going to win this. Something like enemy through the E of Ecotage will easily be enough to outrun this terrible rack that Saint has drawn.
Unbelievable game, though. Such amazing things happened.
Yeah, really crazy.
Just looking at what Saint drew, there's no way he could possibly have won the game. I think even with a quest, it's too easy for Ori to just score some points here. I think. You're convinced Aloe was better. I looked at the play of Aloe through the second L in bullpens that kept the
Loeb. Yeah.
yeah, makes low, but kept the leave of CAGE. It just you have so little flexibility with that rack in the end game. We were talking about the lack of synergy between the C, the G, and especially the E. And in this position, there's really nothing you can hope for after Aloe. You're barely taking the lead, and there's almost nothing that can happen. If you draw the S,
It's definitely a
you have to
rough
draw the
position.
S in every single scenario, I think, to win this game. And we know that Ori didn't have the S when he played Fan. Saint doesn't know that, but could have very well gone the other way. That Y and the S were both in the bag, and you know that the Y is in the bag, basically, after a play like Fan. Even if Ori has all three ends, he probably takes the 9 extra points for Faye? I don't know. Anyways, we have to look at this game.
Yeah, this was an interesting one. Yeah, it could be good. We can get, as soon as the game's over, we have the one click to quackle capability where we can start getting some analysis and see what our current strongest computer engine has to say. Um, so yeah, um, I'm very eager to see some of these moves. In particular, Jin. I mean,
That's probably a hasty bot move that is
yeah,
really terrible.
that's surprising. That was an interesting move. Um,
Hmm.
yeah,
A
if
really good
Orly's
question
doing
in
great here.
chat.
He's
Yeah, Ori.
so maybe
Ori's
we'll get
killing
to
it.
interview him at some point. Oh, he plays Emery instead of Enemy. I don't think he's going to be able to go out, but that's fine. Maybe he wasn't going to be able to do that with Enemy either.
Well, you basically it's just basically an out in 3 here because Saint can't go out in 2 either, I don't think. Um, Normally in an endgame you want to go out in 2 moves and catch your opponent with letters left over, but when your opponent has AAIIU, there's almost no way that they're going to be able to even go out in 2 moves. So better off maximizing your score this move and then going out in 3 moves.
Would you just, I mean, do you just pop your S down with quests here and call it a day?
Um, yeah, you probably just play Nene first.
Okay. Yeah.
Although
The
then
ends
it's
are a
blocked.
little less
Then it's
flexible.
blocked with air. I don't know. And Nene can be blocked. It's weird. It's very complicated. It's complicated enough to go out in 2. All right, so then okay, now Saint can block with like AE, I guess, and then go out with TUI. I don't know if that's even worth it though.
Yeah, a couple of outs in the dictionary we're not using that are tantalizing for him, such as QUAI, but no need to worry about that. And Ori comes away with the win. A
Heavens.
very interesting game. Now, Josh, you want me to pull this and take a look at the sim here?
Yeah, let's do it.
So let's see, what is the first position that we
Rifampin, I guess.
at? Rifampin versus foam? I don't know. I think we covered that analysis. Even if Quackle wants him to play foam, I think I do like Rifampin better, or some kind of play like that. I really like how it sizes up positionally.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. Jin is the play that you're totally right. That is the top equity play, but your
And
play of
it's the play you see instantly.
but your play of erg is, as soon as I click sim, it shoots to the top. So
Yeah, I mean, it
that's a
looks pretty
good
good.
sign. Very, very good sign. Oh, it actually also likes, oddly enough, rings.
Rings, yeah. That's a
for
crazy play.
26, which, I mean,
That's even crazier than Jin.
yeah, that doesn't feel like a human play at all. Looks like a great choice to maximize your chance of hitting that J with one of the many, many A's left to come. Let's see. Well, Va seems like I think the biggest thing is what should Saint have done in the pre-end game here. So we'll see what the computer spits out on this.
Oh, it likes Resh and it likes Resh.
What
Where is
on
it?
which turn was that?
In the ring's turn. In wait, really? G10? Oh, Resh and bullpens. Yeah, that maximizes your chances at Raj. Interesting.
Oh, okay. Got
RESH and bullpens keeps GJR. And even though there's 7 A's and you're probably just going to draw an A after Erg, you're more likely to draw an A after playing 4 tiles rather than 3. Okay, interesting. Gusher was probably better than Shrug. Gusher and Hiders. Yeah, the play of Va, I think, was the biggest mistake of the game. Yeah.
Thanks. I do see some of the the pairings available for round 10. I guess we can maybe switch back to Collins. There are some, wow, pretty good matchup between Dr. Bing and Dave Koenig.
Yeah.
Um, that seems like a runaway favorite to me. In
Yeah, we
terms
should
of,
probably look at that game.
yeah, Dave is, um, sorry, what was that? Okay, yeah, I did think there might be a slight pause. So maybe we can just go to the analysis board and have a look at some games and give the tournament a little time to catch up to round 10. Um, so, okay, let me get to the game that just finished that we're looking at here. Okay, so yeah, so Josh is saying, let's go back to some of those moves that you were talking about because this game was so rich in like what to do here. Okay, so the Jin play. On this move, this was the genius of the move that Josh had. Let me just set this up. Um, okay, so the move that Josh suggested. So you have this J spot, which is huge, right? It's really, really a huge J spot. The scary thing about it, though, is that the Z also fits there almost equally as well, even harder, right? It's an even crazier spot to hit. I guess it's a little tricky to actually get a play down there other than Azo in this lexicon. It's going to be kind of hard to play the Z there. So anyway, Orry does play Jin, setting up a D that he does not have in that spot. Josh had this really great idea, if I can just get that off, of just playing Erg here, which is so, so nice because you block the Z from hitting very hard with this play. There's no way to get the Z nearly as hard. You have to, I mean, are there really any
Spaz, maybe. Oh, the P's are gone. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, spaz, is that the only thing in this dictionary? Yeah, it's going to be really, really hard. Instead, you keep RJ and look at this side of the unseen tiles. There are 7 A's that you can draw. Any of them will give you Raj for an enormous score in that spot. So I think Erg has great upside. But yeah, I think what is Orry thinking here? I absolutely think that on this particular board, there are 2 really scary spots to score on. One right here is going to score a ton. The other is right here. And Orry is just saying to himself, I'm going to plop this J down while I can. But obviously, the way that this game proceeded, he plays his J. Saint just boldly storms ahead and plays by and doesn't even worry.
Yeah, that was amazing.
I certainly, in his shoes, would have felt that Orry is playing that J there in all likelihood to set up what he believes is one of the last 2
Yeah,
S's.
especially since he played it that fast.
Yeah.
I think if he took a longer time, the longer he takes, the less I'm like, okay, he definitely has the D. Like, he played it really. How long did it take? I can go back to the beautiful Woogles saying that it took him. It actually took him 2.5 minutes to play. So maybe not then.
Yeah, he had at least a little bit of a think, not a terribly long think about it, but then it just turned out the absolute worst case. So to that leave of Deint, Saint draws AT and pops Tainted down for 89. Um, so yikes. Yeah.
And
Oh, Botterer just had to have auto mod enabled. Sorry, that's why Botterer was slow. So anyway, we were fast forwarding ahead. I don't think we like the play of VAW here, just because keeping 5 consonants, including Q, Z, C, G, is just gonna take forever to unload that from your rack. I would much rather just get out of that as soon as possible.
yeah,
But yeah, tough call. It's you never want to exchange in such a close game, but
I
I think
mean,
it was called for there.
if you see Squeg, at least there's a reason to play Va because there are 6 E's to draw for Squeg. But he clearly didn't see Squeg. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So yep, you could see on this turn, Squeg. Not only does it score 4 more points than Quest, it also gets rid of that nasty G. The synergy of CTZ is so far superior just because the Z works so much better with individually the C and the T than it does with the G and CG together is truly a toxic combination and one of the worst tile synergies of either the C or G together.
I can I can foresee like an emote with like synergy with the G being the last letter. Synergy,
Yeah.
anti-synergy. Because yeah, to be fair, like the G is just not good for most of the tiles in the bag. Like to have it with the G is not great. The
Yeah.
only thing that works with the G is the IN and the N.
And only on certain boards. And anyway, Saint is up by 20 going into this turn. You can see this is what Orry was looking at, what we were talking about before when he played Fan in the corner. Why would he do this, leaving all 4 consonants? Well, very simple. Look at this in the tile bag. 10 vowels unseen to only 4 consonants. If ever there was a time to keep 4 consonants together, this is it. And sure enough, on his next play, Orry drew an E and a Y, which, again, one of those consonants is a Y, which is one of the most vowely, it is the voweliest consonant that exists. So,
I don't want to
pretty good
get into this
recognition there.
debate.
Sorry, what's that?
I don't consider the Y to be a consonant.
Well, it's certainly it's a weird tile. It doesn't behave quite like any other tile. It's strange in that regard.
I'll have you know, Will, the self-proclaimed, or maybe world-proclaimed second best player in the world behind Nigel, Mr. Not Jesse Day, sorry Jesse, but David Eldar. I told him once that if I were to organize a score sheet and separate vowels and consonants, I would put the Y apart. I would put it in its own category because the Y can behave as either a vowel or a consonant, so I don't consider it a vowel or a consonant. And I said that, and David Elder was like, "Oh, that's a great idea. I'm gonna think about that." So
And was he being earnest, or was that
yeah,
that classic sarcasm that we know and love?
no, he was being earnest.
Yeah, it's definitely an odd letter for sure. Yeah, better know a letter Y. That'll have to come at some point. I think my
Absolutely.
next, I'm not sure what my next one is. It's been a busy, I don't have one in production, but anyway, this turn was the most interesting one. So Saint had this really vowely rack that he can't score with or do anything with. What were some of the suggestions that we had? Potentially
Aloe,
like aloe
Aloe,
here.
Koti, Goti, Ecotage. The play I was
12,
thinking of
yeah. It's
The
just
play I was thinking of that doesn't empty the tile bag was Etap through the T in Outliner and the P in Refampin. That was the play I was thinking of, and it does okay. Like I already simmed the position. Apparently, a gate just a gate.
I saw that.
Um,
My quackle was
but
telling me
I
agate.
don't think
Yeah,
so. Yeah,
agate. Yeah,
agate.
Gideon, I did promise K, and that is what I expect to do next. I do
I
expect to do K, then maybe Y afterwards.
I don't know if it found a quest, to be perfectly honest. I don't know if
I guess part of the problem, oh my god, I keep hitting the wrong button. I think part of the problem with a quest is simply that by using one vowel and one consonant, your chances of drawing two more vowels and just losing every endgame like that is rough, right? What is
Yeah,
I don't even see what is that letter?
yeah, that's a funny letter.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
some
it's
kind of odd character.
yeah.
Um,
Hey,
but
I
so what can we tease?
that's
What is
not very
the
nice, Will. Don't
what
call
is
me that.
sorry, but what is the point behind agate here? I'm not 100% sure I
It's
understand this.
defensive. It doesn't allow yes and quest or yas and
Does
quest.
it have some possibility if you draw the S, can you then follow up with some kind of a big
I think if you draw the S, you're in great shape here.
can you draw like yeah, I'm just trying to imagine is there some big play with ace and go when you keep CO and draw the S that you go across with it? I don't really see a play like that, so I don't think that's it. Um, Yeah, kind of a tricky situation. I really think this is mostly just losing for Saint in most cases.
I agree.
So nitpicking too hard, it's definitely important to try to maximize your winning percentage in situations like this. But ultimately, this was a really hard position, and there probably was nothing that's going to win a ton of the time for you.
Yeah.
Um,
Again, I really think it boils down to whether or not you draw the S. And as a result, leaving letters in the bag that minimizes your chance of doing that. So
True.
I think the idea of emptying the tile bag, even though it's very counterintuitive, would be the right idea here. So playing, I think goatee or coatee, because if they have, yeah, if Ori has the Y, you're already in pretty big trouble, and if he has the Y and the S, you just lose.